Hi, this is Emily. Emily is first grader who is struggling in math. So her mom and Emily sit on the kitchen table almost every day to do extra math practice at home. But Emily already experienced some difficulty in learning, and her mother doesn't have enough confidence to guide Emily keep up her school curriculum. I will show you two applications today. This is total calculation practice that will help Emily and her mom use this time effective as engaging as possible. So the left part of the screen changes as Emily's progress adaptively. Emily can directly write down on the screen, but Emily is not a great writer, so she sometimes uses another input system. So just pull down directly to the screen. But actually, Emily requires some more stimulation, some more scaffolding to do this activity herself. So there is falling block game. You can see the 10 frame under the screen. So it gives Emily some cue to find the answer herself. It just patiently repeats what is going on and just give her enough cue to find the answer herself. Emily is such a visual learner, so sometimes she just enjoys to see 2 plus 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is awesome because before that, Emily's mom used apples and oranges repeatedly to give her the critical concept of plus and minus. But right now, she just take her time, and this cat and dog doesn't be tired at all. Even really early level, like just counting and tracing, it's not fit to Emily's first grade level, but it is really helpful for Emily because she should build confidence and fluency in math. Emily's mom found Emily requires some preschool to kindergarten level practice more because she made quite basic mistake a lot. But Emily is such a social girl, so working with something labeled preschool is not very encouraging thing for her. And moreover than that, her school is moved to next curriculum already. They are all about telling time, clock. And Emily wants to learn what is going on and want to sit beside of her classmate and learn about the telling time. This is total telling time. Emily can just play with the main clock, and through the time she will realize the concept of the clock face and the movement of sun and moon, and the date and the time. There is 5 mini games here. We are developing something for preschool to kindergarten age. So this is the first level of analog clock game. So she will wake up at 7.
7 o'clock.
And she wakes up. Yeah. And 12 o'clock, she will have a lunch.
12 o'clock.
There is more difficult level she can challenge later if she have enough confidence about the first level. So we try to give young child enough scaffolding, like analog to digital. What time is it?
7 o'clock.
But many people sometimes miss. If you try to teach concept of telling time, they should master counting by 12, and they should learn where is the exact position of numbers in the clock face. So this simple game just encourages Emily to to play independently, repetitively, and she will learn the order of numbers in the clock face through time. And there is surely more difficult levels, or the third level. It's about a minute. So as you see in total telling time, we have 5 different games, and everything is multi-leveled from kindergarten to 2nd grade. So this is two of the series of total elementary math apps for kindergarten to 2nd grader. So I believe some of you already noticed we developed it for most struggling learners. Actually, this is a mission of LocomotiveLabs. We empower children with special needs to be independent learners. Our team members built some successful special education app from 2010 in App Store. So from the journey, and while we are testing it with our early children with special needs and just normal toddlers, we found really interesting thing. The universal design of learning we use for children who is the most struggling can be benefit to all children inside of the classroom. We all know all child learn differently at their own way. So if you can let the most struggling children play, let them be engaged, and let them play at their own pace independently, you can actually make all other children learn it at the same way. That's what we are doing. If you like what you see, we are raising seed round right now, and we are looking for developers and designers who want to work with and work for a young child. Thank you very much.
So,
I missed that.
that's okay. You did great. Raphael.
So congrats on a nicely designed product.
Thank you.
What I'm wondering is, it seems like a siloed product right now. So it seems like a siloed product. And I'm wondering, are there ways that you can infect new users through the product itself? Because that's the difference between a nice business and a really great business, when a product can bring in new users, new kids, etc. And how do you think through that?
I hope I understand the question correctly. So you said how we will attract new user continuously, right?
Through the product itself.
Through the product.
Yeah, how viral is how most people would say.
Yes.
Right?
So
Because it's great. It's great as a single player game for an individual student, for sure.
So our plan is actually when we see the kindergarten to 2nd grade curriculum, we found many materials just judged children by their grade level. But we see totally different thing. We just chunk them into subjects. So telling time, money, calculation practice, and our calculation practice will come to the market for free, and it will contain all other games teacher level inside. And we believe with that, parents and teachers will find out just sit and do the most crucial practice. Is not that boring, and actually anybody can share that experience at home and school. So that is our strategy.
It's a series of, can I expand on that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a series of 7 apps, and these are the first 2 that will be released. So one of the strategies in the App Store is having a large portfolio of apps that you can cross-market against each other. And calculation practice, with it being such a great user experience that you had talked about, having that seed the market and giving it for free will help to build the audience to purchase Telling Time and the other 5 that will come out.
Yeah, I think his question though was more, is there a feature you could put into the app? So that's a marketing strategy. He's talking about a product strategy where there's something viral in the product, the same way Hotmail at the end of every email would say, sent by Hotmail.
It's really
And
good point,
right.
and we will definitely think about it.
I have a suggestion on it, which is
Yeah.
most people have siblings or cousins, and
Yes.
if you could invite, everybody who buys it could invite a cousin to get a free version of it, or to challenge their cousin to do it, and share the.
That's what I'm getting.
So put in the email addresses, or my brothers are, my cousins are, and you could put it on Facebook and share it with them. Those kind of sharing things might bring people to the product.
So, I mean, I looked at not that long ago the
Into the
education
microphone.
category. I looked not that long ago at the education category and just looked again, and it was something like 37 of the top 100 paid apps are by a company named Toka, or however you say it.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like Toka Hair Salon, Toka Hair Salon, like Toka, So I mean, that's what you were driving at, and I think they've been very successful, and your design is very good. So there's a shot, but I agree. I'm just
It is
furthering your point.
Doing games more than educational.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sort of a.
And that's, I think, the more gamification, I mean, I think you've done a really great job. And in my experience, most of the challenge for these consumer app companies are both on the acquisition side and on the retention side, right? Because not only do you have to figure out how do you chart, right, where you really need a lot of downloads to actually be in the top 10 in these categories. And because you've got, Angry Birds in some categories or Toka that have millions of downloads that even if you get as a startup 100,000, which would be so awesome, you're still not in the top 10. And so that's a really interesting challenge. And then the other thing is notification systems or leveling systems to bring them back so that you actually can create really good 30, 60, 90-day retention because you have more shots of them having used it for 2 months and then feeling confident enough to invite their friends or tell the grandparents about what they've done. And so I think it's good to think about strategies for both.
Yes, it's a really good point.
Are-
And actually, our team developed 3 successful apps in the market already, and they hit #1 in the chart, and we got several awards with our early intervention app designed for 12 months to 36 months of cognitive age. So I believe we learned a lot from that strategy. But what we learned is if you are dealing with serious education, you should deliver the comprehensive curriculum. So just one app or 100 app that is dealing with K to second grade is not working, especially if you are dealing with children who is the most struggling. They always confuse whenever the pattern changes, the rule changes. So our original plan is build 7 individualized app in the market, and in the end of the day, we want to merge it into one system. So we know Tokabuka and Dr. Moose is really successful. They just boom, boom, boom the market. But we want to deal with a more serious type of user, and we will deliver what they are looking for their home and work for school, and want to deliver comprehensive curriculum they can just stay on for a long amount of time.
But wouldn't you charge more then? I mean, if you're trying, you said you're going to give it away for free and then eventually some upsell. I would imagine if you're going after special needs with a very specialized thing, it would be 3 times the price or 5 times the price.
Yep. We once got a Parents' Choice Gold Award with our $50 early intervention app. So I know
$50?
$50.
Oh,
Yes, it is still.
you are
in the-
charging more.
Yeah, this is in the top grossing chart still. So
That's
what?
a lot more.
Yeah, what do you
You
think?
charged $50 for the special needs app.
Yes,
And you sold a lot of them, or?
we are quite successful with that app. It is called Easy Child Development Game Suite. It is still one of the best early intervention app in the market.
For everyone out there, by the way, going for the lowest price isn't a great strategy all the time.
Right, yeah.
Sometimes you scroll through apps, you see, whoa, this costs $50. It must be 10 times better than
Yeah.
this $4.99 app.
So yeah, when I released that app in the market, they just say, why don't you just separate into 12 different 199 app and just make a $1 million per each? But it is not happening because especially education market is still really small. So, but if you make a comprehensive system, actually you can get a better chance to attract user. And what we are looking for is not a gaming market. I don't want to just deal with Angry Bird. So what I am looking for is workbook market, because children is bored with this amount of workbook every day, and it is originally invented for children who is the most patient, who is most high achieving kind of child. But if this child can't get any relationship with a traditional paper-based workbook, I believe maybe tablet or new devices can give some answer. So we are still looking for the answer about that market. Nobody just designed for nobody designed for children with special needs seriously. They are staying at the same level for a long amount of time, and they easily frustrated, and they don't have confidence in themselves. So if you make an app like assuming they will just get whatever you offer them, it will not work for them. That's why special education market is that strong in the App Store, and they are really trying to figure out what is working for our children, what is not. So
Let's get some more feedback from the panel, yeah.
yep.
We're out of time.
So I believe we are challenging to the serious serious education market, not the educational gaming market.
The special needs market, I think, is very strong. And I think parents who have special needs children will pay a lot. So I don't disagree. And I think your product has a lot of integrity, too. I was noticing the kinesthetic, the visual, the auditory component to it. So I think it's a strong product.
Thank you.
Does it, as the child's working on it, does it somehow help to feed the child as to what they should be doing next? Is it looking at what they know and what they don't know?
So do you have
Adaptive, yeah, is it adaptive? Or not yet?
So currently in our app, they can change level themselves. What we found is if they are in first grade level, just let them pick on first grade level is not a great idea, especially if they should build a confidence in their mind. So sometimes they just work with a really early, easy level to just build a confidence and just get a feeling of winning. But however, they get bored sometimes and explore other levels inside of the game. And with a small level board, you can see what level they challenged and what is their exact level are. And for the calculation practice, we are definitely think about the more detailed adaptive feature, and we are thinking add-on analytics on there because it will help actually parents and teacher greatly to understand this child.
Lumosity is the name of the company that's charging $30 or $40 a month
Yes.
to adults.
For brilliant adults.
For brilliant adults, yes. Only if you're not brilliant, you can't buy it. They check with your last 4 digits of your, that's what that security code on your credit
Yes.
card is, right?
It cost me 6 times as much.
Yes, exactly. I wonder if you could be the Lumosity of special needs kids in that if you have a $300 a year price point, which would be only $30 a month or something to that effect, or $25 a month actually, it seems pretty cheap, $1 a day for special needs kids to have something that's continuous. And if you have a $300 ARPU, revenue per user, you could be spending a lot on keywords and ads to acquire them. Eileen, you're nodding your head. This would be the strategy to go for here when we invest, right?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, so I'll help you out here. But yeah, because I think this is a marketing and sales strategy issue because I think you're going to get totally lost going after general consumers and naming it some math thing that's not clear that this is a special needs situation. I think that, and there's so much math stuff, and they're not going to be able to distinguish the high quality and the differentiation of
So you
your
think the
stuff.
naming and the framing could be better for special needs?
Totally important. And to your point, you need to have a much different pricing strategy because special needs will pay easily $300 a month.
Not 300 a month. I was saying
well,
300
$300 a year.
Yeah.
And consumers will not be paying that at all.
Let's take a
consumers.
question from the audience. Is anybody a special needs teacher here or work with special needs students a lot? I would love to hear your feedback on it.
Teaching telling time even to fully functional kids, even at relatively old ages, is quite difficult and amazingly difficult if you haven't done it. And this app looks fantastic. And also, I think that, I don't know how much she impressed upon us, but I think that looking at a special needs product is kind of like a Trojan horse kind of strategy where it really is a great product, I think, for regular kids, as we've seen today. And that might be like the first step. And then the second step is trying to, once you've got a connection with the school districts, with the special needs department, then you can then go forward into the regular selling channels for those districts.
Awesome. Great
I
feedback.
just want to add one thing. as a special needs parent, I myself paid $100 per 1 hour of therapy for 6 months. I accessed my parents to get the money. But I worked in game industry for a long time. Nobody charged more than $100 per their product. So I think there is something broken is here. So I just want to give some best product to special needs kids with a reasonable price. Parents always can purchase for their struggling child and their siblings as well.
Cyan, feedback?
I was just going to follow up on your point. I have a 2-year-old child, and I download special needs apps for him. I've seen that he has excelled in his puzzle-solving abilities in math and all sorts of things because the way that those skills are taught are actually really great for any child.
But it's not a special needs child. You're saying you look for special needs and give it to a very young child.
Exactly. And I give it to a
that's
very...
brilliant.
And that's another way you could market it, which is sort of the baby Einstein approach, which is, you could put those apps in front of pretty, I don't know if my child's going to be smart or not, but I know that he is picking up on a lot of these things because these apps are so accessible. So I think that might be another way for you to market it.
I totally agree. Just to add to that, I think it's amazing. I have 2 girls who are about to enter 2nd grade, and the amount of time their teacher has spent teaching conceptual stuff that is taught over and over again in large amounts of time. I'm really fascinated by schools, newer schools that are inverting the model and using basically technology-based curriculum to teach conceptual stuff and then use the teacher time to actually problem solve instead of doing this conceptual stuff. And it seems like maybe approaching some of the school districts like Rocket Ship that are really trying to use software to teach conceptual stuff would put a lot of more leverage in the school systems.
I just felt like when the selection process, when I started stuff, and I think it's great to hear it confirmed, just incredibly well conceived and put together. So I just think that's notable. Do we have another question from anybody?
I would just say, though, to keep that, I love the pricing being more expensive, and
Yeah.
I think that's probably, when I heard that, everything changed.
It's a premium product.
Right. And I think, to your point about naming, like, maybe you don't need that special a name if it costs 10 times as much as the other stuff out there.
Well, but if it
me,
was special needs time telling or special needs this,
But that
or,
would turn off people who.
no, it would
wanna
turn
do
her
it
on.
for-
She'd be like,
You can
she's
actually
searching for that keyword.
So
Yeah.
the reason why I discovered
You can put it in the
this,
description.
I think I let my son watch YouTube, and he found some, like Zoo Train is the app that I found. And so I thought, well, I'll download that and just kind of throw it in front of him and see what happens. And it blew my mind. Like, here's like a 22-month-old, like putting together puzzles and doing math.
Yep.
So then I was like, okay, well, what other special needs apps are out there? And I actually found there were very few. So I only found like 3 or 4 that I could use. And so I do think there is a market there.
Okay, let's hear it for Locomotive Labs.
Thank you.
Well done.